Jasmine had golden brown skin, dark brown eyes, and thick wavy hair she usually straightened for roles. Ava, whose mother had been born in Barbados, was the tallest and naturally tan, with hazel eyes. Her dark curls fell to her shoulders, the result of a recent post-divorce chop. But the surface differences didn't matter. They were family. Jasmine gave the magazine cover one last scathing look, but didn't dare rip it down. Even at 30, she still feared invoking her grandmother's wrath.
Forget about the picture. Ven acá, nena.
Abuela opened her arms and wrapped Jasmine in a hug. Jasmine sank into the embrace, breathing in the sweet scents of vanilla and Esperanza's face powder. It had been too long since she'd last visited. Too long since she'd spent time with this woman who meant so much to her. The signs of Esperanza's aging were clearer, although she still styled her now gray hair in a short bob and wore red lipstick every day.
If you're not wearing lipstick and earrings, you might as well be naked, Esperanza used to say.
It wasn't until Jasmine was older that the true meaning sank in. Those things were armor against a world that had wanted to treat her grandmother as someone smaller and duller than the brilliant and beautiful woman she was. Looking after her appearance forced people to take her seriously. Jasmine caught a glimpse of the magazine cover mocking her from over her grandmother's shoulder. Never again, she promised herself. Never again would her dating life give the national entertainment media machine a reason to shine a spotlight on her. Jasmine Lin Rodriguez was done with dating. She released her grandmother, who took Ava's spot at the stove, and joined her cousins at the kitchen counter where Michelle passed around steaming mugs of coffee. After a deep inhale of Café Bustelo mixed with the house's permanent scent of sazon seasoning, Jasmine gulped the bitter black coffee, wishing it were a glass of wine. Michelle jerked her head toward the kitchen doorway. "Basement?" "Basement," Jasmine agreed. The three of them took their mugs and trooped downstairs. The finished basement had long been their hideout, their refuge away from the rest of the family, where they could talk about their hopes, dreams, and dumb boys. McIntyre certainly fell into the latter category, although Jasmine had no interest in talking about him ever again. If she could erase him from her memory, she would. No, better yet, she'd erase him from everyone else's memories. Then he'd no longer be famous, and no one would care that she'd dated him. "Remind me where you're staying?" Michelle asked once they'd settled onto the old sofa. It had once lived upstairs under plastic, but after surviving 12 grandkids, the plastic had been removed and the couch relegated to the basement. Jasmine sipped her coffee again. "Screenflix is putting me up at the Hutton Court. It's one of those long-term stay hotels." Screenflix, the #1 streaming service in the country, had cast Jasmine in the starring role on the remake of La Patrona Carmen, a Venezuelan telenovela from the 1990s. After the popularity of American remakes of telenovelas, like Ugly Betty, Jane the Virgin, and Queen of the South, Screenflix had seen the writing on the wall. Telenovelas were where it was at. For Jasmine, who'd made a name for herself on English soap operas and received a Daytime Emmy nom, headlining a show on Screenflix had the potential to be her big break. If it did well, it could lead to more Screenflix projects, or maybe even a big-budget cable show or primetime network program. Michelle raised her eyebrows. "Ooh, fancy." Jasmine shrugged. "Yeah, but it's in Midtown." "East or west?" Ava asked. "East." Michelle wrinkled her nose. "Gross. There's nothing over there." "Tell me about it. If it were any farther east, I'd be sleeping in the middle of the FDR Drive." Jasmine couldn't complain too much, though. Screenflix had a contract with the hotel company, and her agent had negotiated for her to stay in one of their one-bedroom units with views of the East River. And since it was an easy drive over the Queensboro Bridge...